all day long we've been telling you about the Spurs committing a total of $1 billion to a new downtown arena, part of Project Marble. The Spurs say they're ready to dish out $500 million for the arena and another $500 million for other downtown developments. They're also guaranteeing to cover any cost overruns during construction. That's a total of $1 billion. So where do we go from here? We've been bringing you live team coverage, and we continue that tonight, from what's being talked about at City Hall to the budget breakdown to how other cities are handling sports arenas. We start with News 4 San Antonio's Destiny Fuller live at City Hall.
Mandy, even when Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones was on the campaign trail, she talked about getting the best Project Marble deal for San Antonians. Today, the City Council sat through nearly a 4-hour meeting, hearing from the concerns of the community, and they have to figure out how they're going to get that good deal.
It's hard, I think, for the council to understand if our asks are in fact unreasonable, if we don't know what we are trading away.
Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones saying she felt like a realtor, weighing whether or not the Spurs' recently announced $1 billion contribution offer is reasonable.
We certainly don't want to make assumptions about what we could or could not get, which is why I asked the questions.
Those questions surrounding dollar amounts for Spurs naming rights, merchandise, ticket and concession sales, and more.
Because when you say, entity X gets all of it, well, what's all of it? Again, because I'm looking at 2030, we got $220 million gap in our general fund budget. So I think, how we can think about this not only in terms of how we pay for it, but how we can help ourselves with a general fund.
The council also sitting through hours of questions and concerns from the community.
I want to remind you all, as well as others that have been here, reminding you that you are here for the people of San Antonio.
Some saying they feel tourists stand the most to gain. Mayor Jones remaining skeptical about the deal, also mentioning interest in revenue sharing from the Spurs organization.
And why do they have to get all of it? I understand that has kind of been the norm, but it's a negotiation for a reason. So why wouldn't we ask?
I do need the Spurs to do more. The will for this arena is not here right now, and if we do not contribute, this arena does not happen.
Mayor Jones calling this a go big or go home deal.
We don't do this every day, right? This is a generational investment, and now is the time to negotiate, and now is the time to get some answers to these questions.
Mayor Jones says the council has to decide how they want to approach this, saying whether there's an arena or not, the council's main priorities is filling that budget gap and community benefit. Live from City Hall, I'm Destiny Fuller.
So with the Spurs contribution now clear, the funding model comes into focus. The chart here it helps us all understand how this is going to work. The arena is forecast to cost anywhere between $1.2 and $1.5 billion. It's just an estimate. So let's use the example of $1.2 billion. The Spurs say they're good for $500 million. The city would chip in another $500 million from the state-funded PFZ, the Project Finance Zone. That would leave the rest, another $200 million. That would come from the county's Visitors Hotel Rental Car Venue Tax, which would fund the Freeman, Frost Bank Center, and new Spurs Arena. So it looks like that $1.2 billion could be covered without any tax coming directly from local taxpayers. There is still some negotiation to be done. Of course, the big news this morning was the news of the Spurs putting an actual dollar amount to the commitment. Sports Director Don Harris continues our team coverage now with how this is comparing to other pro sports arenas being built around the country.
Well, Mandy, there's no doubt the Spurs have a lot of work ahead of them. Job one, educating fans before any sort of vote on public funding. But the truth is, the public money for sports facilities is more common than ever. And the Spurs are actually asking for a lot less than some other teams. The Cleveland Browns, for instance, are getting over $600 million from the state of Ohio for a new domed stadium. In Arizona, there's a commitment of over $500 million from state taxes to renovated the Diamondbacks ballpark. And Oklahoma City just voted with a margin of 71% to approve an arena that is almost fully funded by taxpayers. The Spurs, on the other hand, are footing the bill for a full third of the cost, and the public funding isn't a local burden, but a visitor tax on hotels and rental cars and a state vehicle that allows for taxes on revenues in future developments.
Their formula is a very direct sales tax, and the city there is paying, as I understand, 95% of the construction of the new arena. And to be very clear, we're not asking for that type of formula. We're willing to make a significant investment like we have in the past.
Actually, it's a much bigger commitment this time around, about 10 times bigger than 2002's SBC Center, even adjusted for inflation. And the news of the Spurs pledge today is making an impact on public opinion from what we've heard on social media. And contrary to what Councilman McKee just stated, the will seems to be going in the Spurs' favor.
The downtown arena and larger Project Marvel development could change the city on the scale that Hemisfair did back in 1968. And there's expectations of a much better result when it comes to economic development downtown. Compared to the east side, when the then SBC Center was built in 2002, Nelson Wolf, who served as both mayor and county judge, says he is for the new project and believes today's revelation will help gain support.
Because the more that the public knows about it, the greater chance of getting it passed, and hopefully that's going to happen now.
Wolf says he expects a huge boost in tourism, especially when paired with the Alamo redevelopment project. And we want to hear from you. What do you think of the Spurs' $1 billion offer? 64% of you say that's more like it. If you want to weigh in, scan the QR code on your screen.
Well, the Spurs' willingness to chip in over $1 billion for a new downtown arena was known by those in the know, including those in City Council, but it was news to most of us. And it seems to be a game changer when it comes to public opinion. Now, some of the negative buzz surrounding the project was the unknown, the lack of the details, who pays for what aspect. That was put to rest today by 2 of the 3 interested parties. The county knows what they can do. The Spurs are now in for $500 million for the arena and another $500 million for the downtown development. That sparked a positive reaction from Spurs fans on social media, just as Spurs owner Peter Holt predicted when I interviewed him last month.
The fans and San Antonio residents and Bexar County residents have a wonderful opportunity to participate in this process by voting. There's going to be very clear ballot language with a bunch of supporting facts that voters can decide on. They're going to have a very clear and transparent next couple of months to see all the information and to say, hey, I love the Spurs. I love San Antonio. This is the right thing. We're going to get this done for us, and us means the Spurs.